on Regan.
I've put them 13th.
Bloody yeah. Right, I've gone. Oh God, I don't even remember where I've gone. One sec. I've gone 8th.
I'll put 8th as well.
All right, Regan. Seeing as you disagree, why have you gone 13th then? Why are you so far down?
I feel like a lot of the players, they're going to take a long time to adjust to a new manager. And I feel like that a lot of players will get lost in rotation where like they spent a lot of minutes in Eddie Howe's side. I think that the loss of Callum Wilson's a big one. I think Josh King's on the way out as well. Ryan Fraser's obviously a miss, even though his attitude stinks. And even Aaron Ramsdale as well. I think that they're three massive signings, maybe even a fourth massive signing that I can't see. It's like for the first season anyway, I can't see Bournemouth like make an immediate charge straight back up. I think they'll dwindle in the middle for a bit, maybe a few seasons, come back.
Now, I sort of actually completely forgot about the Eddie Howe effect. I've sort of disregarded that. I've more just gone, I think 8th, because I think they've got some players who are used to the Championship. They got like Chris Metham at the back, Steve Cook, they got Lloyd Kelly, they got Lewis Cook, and those are all good Championship players. The problem is that I see like the attacking options and some of the other like sort of fringe players, and they look awful. Like seriously, like the likes of Dan Juma on the wing. I don't really see where the goals are going to come from. With Bournemouth, usually you think they'll score a lot of goals. But I think they'll still play nice football. They've got some good young English players, but I don't think they've got enough quality. Really, I think that's the problem. I'll leave any on Barnes.
They know the manager who's coming in anyway.
Yeah.
He was Hull's number 2 for so many years. They've got a good squad, not the greatest amount of depth in terms of what you said with fringe players. They're not that good. However, I think their first team will be pretty decent. They've got a back four of, I think it's Jack Stacey, Steve Cook, Chris Metham, and then Lloyd Kelly at left back. They've got quite a good EFL core in their team. A lot of players have been there, and especially players like Lloyd Kelly. You know, last summer he finally got his Premier League move. You know, some of the young players are going to want to prove themselves. You know, after they got their Premier League moves from being at Championship clubs, a lot of them are going to want to prove themselves in the Championship because they don't want to be there. That's why they joined Bournemouth, because they were an established Premier League club at the time. So I think they will prove themselves. But like you said, with Wilson and King leaving, that's a lot of goals missing. Even though they didn't perform last year, that's a lot of goals that they're going to miss out on. And I'm not sure if Solanke and Surridge are 20 goal season strikers. They might prove me wrong because we haven't seen them in the Championship before, but it's not enough at the moment.
I agree. I think they've got the core, but not the added sort of quality that takes you up. I think they've got a good core. And to be honest, I think if they keep that core together, then maybe the season after it could be one of those ones where they whitewash the league because they have got a really. But it's just, I can't see the goals coming from Dom Solanke, so I don't care what division he's in. He's not. Next team is an interesting one, Barnsley.
I've got them quite high. I've got them 16th.
I've gone 15th.
I've gone 16th.
Bloody hell, God. Are we all agreeing it's just that the reason we've got them there is the manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I've actually looked at their squad and they really haven't added much. It's still at all this summer, but they've got all of the same players. And I mean, I think it's the fact that they play such high press attacking football that there's the teams that are down there and are crap, they'll beat them quite comfortably.
Well, the teams got the final day they beat.
Yeah. Oh, all right. But I also think Barnsley will get battered a few times as well this season.
Yeah, no question. Yeah. It's down to the manager, but at some points, it's going to be the players that just won't show up.
There's not much to add to them, though, is there? Because I can't really name you any of their players, in all honesty. They're all these young Austrian players.
Cooley Woodrow.
Oh, Cooley Woodrow. I did see someone say, I think it was the Not Top the 20 podcast, and they said we like Cooley Woodrow. I could have turned off there. No, we don't like Cooley Woodrow. Next team's Birmingham.
I've got them 15th.
I've got them 17th.
I've got them 17th as well.
They're just grim, aren't they?
They're not inspiring at all.
No.
What are your thoughts on Aitor Karanka, Bon?
He's a good manager and he'll make them fairly solid, but the signings and the squad they've got is so aging and average. It's
Yeah.
like a couple of years ago, George Friend and Adam Clayton would have been good signings, but not now. They're just they're not improving that position that they've come into.
No, I agree. Like these players, like they were good 4 or 5 years ago, and you can get sold into the trap, but they're still good. George Friend has not done much for about 3 years. Adam Clayton wasn't getting in the team, but like I'm not sure about them. I think they've just signed Neil Etheridge in goal, which actually is quite a big signing because he's decent. And Jesus,
It's a weird one, that.
Huh? It's a weird one. I don't know why Carl Fleck. He's better than Lee Camp because Jesus Christ, Lee Camp. Oh my Lord! Like I don't. He seems to be like every manager in the Championship likes him because he's a trusted pro, but isn't he like consistently poor? I don't really get it. But yeah, Birmingham, I think, are just a team that will be horrible to play against. We've got them on tomorrow. They'll be horrible to play against, but they're also going to really struggle to score goals or anything of that, isn't they? And they'll fizzle out and they'll lose games 1-0 and get too many draws, and they're going to be boring.
I think their only striker at the moment is Jukovic.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, he's quality in my opinion, but that's not enough.
He has to play up front with someone, and they literally don't have someone to play up front with him. So
maybe they can get Scott Hogan again, but
that would
uninspiring.
I'd put them higher up if they did get Scott Hogan again, but I don't think they're going to.
No.
Next is Blackburn. They're pretty. I mean,
got them 11th, middle of the road.
I've got them 13th, I believe. Yeah.
13th for me as well.
Have you done exactly the same so far, every single one?
Oh yeah.
Similar. It's just Blackburn are like, what are they? They've kept the same squad together. Tony Mowbray you can trust, but I mean, like, I just don't see the quality in there to do anything.
I just think at one point that majority of the players are getting on a bit now, and I feel like that they've been on a good run the past few seasons, and they've had a bit of bad luck with Bradley Dack constantly getting injured. I feel like if he stays fit for most of the season, like counteracting the fact that a lot of the players are getting on a bit, I feel like it's just going to be a similar season.
I feel like their chance was last season if they wanted to make that playoff run. With a lot of the teams slipping up, and Adam Armstrong was on fire. You know you're going to get goals from him. They're like, do you know what it is? Blackburn, they're well drilled, but like they don't actually have any quality, really, do they?
It's not enough quality.
And clearly that club doesn't have owners that are going to invest money into the squad. So. And
they lost that centre-back they had from Man City on loan.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone back. Mm. He was big for them.
I think a big thing they missed out on, they spent £5 million on Sam Gallagher. That could have been spent better. That money could easily have been spent better. He's awful, he is. He does not score goals. Next one, it's Brentford.
I've got them second.
I've got them second.
I've got them second.
Oh, God. I'll let you two decide what you think about Brentford before I say anything.
Do you want to go first, Bonds?
Yeah, sure. You know what you're going to get with Brentford. Good football, good team. Watkins and Benrahma, big loss. But as we've seen previous years with their recruitment, that's not a big deal, really, is it? You know they're going to reinvest that money into some good signings again. Tony looks like an absolute bargain for, was it 5 million?
5 million, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bargain in my opinion. Obviously, they haven't sold Benrahma yet, but I trust them to get a good left winger in if they do sell him. And I just think it's going to be the same as last year. They're going to play good football. I got a feeling they might start off quite slowly. They might have a little bit of a hangover with the playoffs, or it could potentially be setting into the new ground. That might take some time. But, they'll get over that quite quickly. And before you know it, they'll be up there challenging, in my opinion.
Yeah, I basically feel the exact same. I feel like that, especially when they came out of lockdown after like a long break, I think they were possibly the best team in the league, and I feel like they could do that again to start off with before they let fans back in. I feel like it'll be one or the other. I feel like by Christmas they could be at the top of the table, or they'll be near the bottom because, well, I don't know. Hopefully Thomas Frank doesn't go back to his three at the back after like half time and stuff like that. If that happens, that's game over. Yeah, I feel like they've kept the majority of their core players, especially that midfield. I think is very, very solid, and their defence as well. I thought at one point they were going to lose Rico Henry, but it looks like he's staying at the moment. I think that all the players they needed to keep, aside the ones that looked like they were going to leave, have left, and the others that have said they're going to stay have stayed. And I don't think you can go much wrong with that. I don't think Tony's going to be as impactful and as good as Watkins was. I feel like he'll get maybe 17, 18, not as much as Watkins, but I feel like after the end of last season, I feel players like Marcondes and Mbuemo especially will come out and there'll be a whole new player, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I agree with what most you said. I think I am a bit worried about the slow start thing because Ben Rama's going to leave. We know that. We've got Sergi Canos there. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. I like Canos, especially as an option. He's a great option. But there's links of a German winger, Robin Hack. I want to get that. It looks like it's one of those ones that's going to go on forever, but it will get done. I want to see that get done to replace Ben Rama. I want to see another midfield option maybe. And we've sold Ollie Watkins for £33 million, which is ridiculous business. So we've got the money to invest, and you can trust Brentford to buy good replacements. I'm not worried about whether our replacements are good. They will be good. I trust that. It's how quick we get them in. And there's room. I don't think David Raya is going to start against Birmingham tomorrow. He seems to want to be off to Arsenal, which isn't the biggest loss. Raya is a good keeper, don't get me wrong, but you can replace him. Daniels is good for now, but you can't have Luke. We won't have Luke Daniels. You can't pass out from the back. We'd have to change the way we play if we had Luke Daniels in goal. Is the problem. I'm just worried about the slow start and the recruitment turnaround. I think we could have been done a lot of big favours if they had not extended transfer window to this long. If they had finished it before the season started again, it would have done us a lot of big favours.
You've got to remember as well, you started off slow last year.
Yeah,
it took you 10 games to get into the season properly? You didn't look good at all, really, at the start of last season. And
that's what cost us. That's the problem. That's why I'm a bit apprehensive about putting us second. But if we play the way we know we can, I'm sorry, our squad is better than pretty much all of them, isn't it? Really, it's one of the best squads in the league, and we've got the same team, the same spine. I think we will come second, but I can guarantee you along the way there's something that's going to go wrong. Something will go wrong. There will be a slow. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to Birmingham tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised.
No, I think that'll be a draw.
And my outside shout is I think Josh Da Silva is going to be player of the season in the Championship, let alone Brentford. I think he's going to absolutely smash it. So we've got right. We'll move on to the next side, Dale. Next side's Bristol City.
I've got them 9th.
Barnes ain't going to believe I've said this. I've got them 6th.
I've put them 6th, and this is just out of excitement for the new season, and just in an ideal world, I've put them 6th.
Right, I reckon me and Regan should talk about them first, and then let Barnes go as well. Regan, what do you think of City then? If you've got them, you haven't got them playoffs.
No, I just feel like a lot of teams around them. I feel like what I've seen Bristol City, I feel like the teams that I put above them are a bit more consistent than them. I feel like in big games, some players of Bristol City, especially last season, don't perform as much. But I really like their transfer business so far this season with Chris Martin and obviously the 2 Fulham lads. I feel like especially Alfie Mawson's going to be massive if he can stay fit for you. But it's hard to call with them because after the sacking of Lee Johnson, I didn't really pay attention to Bristol City that much because that was coming towards the end of the playoffs and everything like that. I was more focused on Fulham, so I didn't really see how the season ended. But if he was good and he can maintain it over the course of the season, I hold my hands up. And if they make the playoffs, to say, you know what, I was wrong. They look class, but I don't know too much about them, which is why I have them a bit lower than what you do.
My thoughts for Bristol City is they've got a good core of a squad. Although I do think there's areas where it lacks quality, I'm not sure Bristol City need the quality. They've got some good players. I think Jay Da Silva's a brilliant wing back. Mawson and Callis are great centre backs. I really like Jamie Patterson under Dean Holden. I've always liked Jamie Patterson and feel like he's been harshly done by. And then obviously they've got Juju, Wells and Martin. Martin maybe not. You don't know what you're going to get because he's been injured a lot. But Juju and Wells, you know what you're going to get from them. Wells gets goals. Juju's just a great sort of hold-up striker. Puts his head where it hurts. The problem is my reservations, Bristol City, and obviously Joe Williams, Barnes loves that sign, and I know he does, is a great sign in the midfield. He's what they've needed for a while. Bristol City clearly have a good core, a group of players who like playing with each other. but the reservations do have to come with Dean Oldham. One, you don't know what he's going to be like. It's all good signs that he's sticking to a formation. He's sticking to a system. You know what Dean Oldham wants to do. He wants to play that three at the back. He wants to play a certain way. Whereas Lee Johnson was always cutting and changing, and that was always his downfall. He held Bristol City back at times, Lee Johnson. The only thing is, and I've got them sick because, to be honest, I look at it and I'm worried about Bristol City for the first time in ages. I am actually worried about them. But it also could, every season Bristol City fans get optimistic and then something goes wrong or it doesn't go the way they thought it was going to go. So I'm going to sort of sit back and in reservation and think, no, I don't think they'll win the playoffs. I don't think but I've got them sick just because I looked at the rest of the championship and saw that squad should be getting top six. But it's just whether Dean Holden actually can do it and live up to all this. He's been doing a lot of the talking and everyone City fans love all of his interviews. But it's about, is he actually a good manager? I don't know yet. You have to find out.
I think the squad's good enough. I think finally we've got good depth in every position. We've got goal scorers. We've got obviously Wells, Sam, and Chris Martin, even Vyman maybe. We've got a good defence. Hopefully Mawson is a Webster replacement because we missed him last year massively. Leaked so many goals. And in midfield we've got about 1,000 midfielders. So I think surely a few of them will do the job. A few of them still need to go. But I think under Holden, obviously, yeah, he's inexperienced. That's the only thing holding me back from thinking we're going to have a brilliant season, is just because he is inexperienced. However, he's been there 4 years. He knows the team. He knows the formation we're going to play. We're going to play 5 at the back. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the inexperience that he's got as a manager won't matter too much, because I think the quality we've actually got, and I think the set formation we're going to have, the players are going to know what they're going to do week in, week out. Fingers crossed, we should get playoffs.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing. This is the thing. I think with Bristol City, look, we've seen them, and so far, what Dean Alden's done, everything he's done, every challenge he's passed. He did well when they first came. He's done well in pre-season. But I'm just looking forward to seeing how Bristol City do against the likes of Brentford, Norwich, and Watford.
Yeah,
those sort of teams. And I know, they'll still beat. I think Bristol City will do well against the lower teams, but I just think those higher teams, I still think just got a lot more quality than Bristol City, maybe still. But yeah, I think City a good season. They'll get sixth.
So far he talks a good game, and he's just got to prove that now with results.
Yeah,
simple as that now.
Next it is Cardiff. Cardiff next. What people saying?
I've got them 5th.
I've got 9th.
I've got them. Don't actually know because I can't find it. I did have them high up though. Oh, I've got them in 4th.
Right. I mean, I guess I'll go first because I haven't got them in the playoffs. You know, I mean, Mendes Lang's quite a good player, big player for them, and we know what's just happened to him. He's had his contract terminated for doing something dodgy along the line. It seems a breach of contract. I just think Neil Harris, good manager. You know, he's going to set them up well, and they'll be. But I just I know Cardiff got the playoffs last season, but I didn't expect them to get playoffs. It's just I look at the squad and I just think it's all right, but there's it doesn't inspire you. Do you know what I mean? The squad doesn't inspire me. The way Neil Harris is going to play doesn't inspire me. So I'm just I don't want to put them in the playoffs. I think they'll be a good side to be hard to beat as ever. But are they really a team that's going to win consistently 5 games on the bounce a few times in a season? I don't believe they will. I just mean the striking options are still Danny Ward and Glatzel. It just doesn't, not for me. I don't know. But the only reason I've gotten that high, to be honest, is because Neil Harris is the manager. Looking at the squad, I'm not really that convinced by it at all. So I wouldn't have them that high if it wasn't for Neil Harris. But yeah, I've got 9. Why you two got them in the playoffs then?
Yeah, I've got them in 4th because I think once again they've got a good experienced side. I think Kiefer Moore going there is that's a proper Cardiff signing at this current time. I think he'll do a job under them. I think they're strong, physical. You know what you're going to get with Cardiff. They're going to be a tough side to break down, and I do think they will get a couple of goals. They got Hoylett on the wing still. He's a quality player. Good midfielders, and then obviously you got the core at the back with Morrison and I think it's Nelson.
Yeah,
he started playing under Neil Harris quite a lot.
Nelson, yeah. Any thoughts on Cardiff, Regan?
No, mine's practically the same as Barnes. I think that the signing Keith Moore is like a typical Cardiff signing. I'm not saying he'll be fantastic. I'll
Yeah.
say he'll definitely make a difference, but not as like,
Not the words that impresses me.
exactly. But it'll be good for Cardiff. He'll grab a few goals. I feel like I think the Shea Ojo signing is actually not a bad one for Cardiff.
I'll be honest, I wasn't aware of that signing, but no.
Not as like he's gonna make a difference. I feel like he's gonna be a very good rotation player, and I feel like he could come up with like good moments where if he comes off the bench because he brings like a certain spark to a game because he did used to play for Fulham basically, and that's what he brought to Fulham. I feel like that the only reason, like I said, I have him so high is I think that when they came out of lockdown and even when Neil Harris took over, I think they were brilliant. I think they were fantastic under Neil Harris. And I feel like if they invested a bit more, I could have had them even higher. But like you said, I think I look at their squad and I'm like, I still can't see them go up or even make noise with the top two. So I'm just going to keep them there. They could be same as last year, a solid playoff team that probably get bounced in the first round.
First of the newly promoted sides, Coventry.
I've got them 19th.
I've got them 19th.
When it comes to notes, I didn't actually write anything from, so I didn't know what to say about them really.
Where you got them?
There, I have them in 21st.
So you got them staying up just?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think we can skip over Coventry. Like, I mean, I was say they haven't done a lot of business. They lost Liam Walsh. Obviously, went back to Bristol City. He pulled the strings for them. They got rid of Zane Westbrook, and I don't know. Just maybe the fans don't seem too upset about it, which I was very surprising because I thought whenever I looked at Coventry, he was one of the players who was doing very well for them. Went to Bristol Rovers. I'm impressed by their business. It's not like amazing. They've got a few loanees in, then they've got Tyler Walker up top. I think Tyler Walker with Matt Godden will score goals in the Championship. Enough. And the only reason I've got them staying up, really, this squad's okay. It's just that there's a lot. I think there's a few teams in the Championship who are in such disarray at the moment, but Coventry will be okay. And I trust Mark Robbins is a very good manager, so I think he'll keep them up. But in terms of the squad, there's not been a massive turnover, so I don't know if there's much to say really.
That's the exact same thing I haven't gone up is because I think there's 5 teams just simply worse than them.
Yeah.
That's basically, I'm not saying that they're deservedly 19th because they're the 19th best. I'm saying just they're the 6th worst is basically what I'm trying to say.
I'll tell you what I like about Coventry though. It's a new team in the Championship for a while, and I actually hope they do well. I hope they stay up.
If we can get in stadiums as soon as possible, so we can't go to the Rico Arena.
Yeah.
But an away day in Birmingham, it's not too bad really.
Next we've got Derby. I think this one might split opinion.
I've got them 12th.
I've got them 12th.
I've got them 12th.
Opinion.
It's a hat trick.
Yes. I'm sure it was. I've just watched the Racing Post's Championship predictions before this, and a man like Kevin Campbell has come on who clearly knows nothing about the Championship and says he thinks Derby will win the league. So, and then I've looked at the and do you know what it was? Derby have those young good players. They have Max Bird. They obviously have Wayne Rooney's. Their form when he came was unbelievable. Wayne Rooney will still pull the strings, don't get me wrong. I think this will be his last season though. Max Bird, good young player. Sibley, I really like. But I think they've just undone all of their hard work by losing Jaden Bogle and Max Lowe. In my opinion, I think that is. I know Barnsley's quite impressed. They're going to get Nathan Byrne to replace Jaden Bogle, who is quite a good player. Don't get me wrong, but Bogle and Max Lowe offered them so much. Jaden Bogle's a properly good player. He should have left earlier, I think. I don't. Do you really see the quality in Derby's side other than Rooney? And I mean, Rooney can't do everything by himself, a 36-year-old.
No, it's such a young squad. I think a season of just bedding those young players into the team, I think hopefully getting top half for Derby, I think they'll take that, to be fair.
I think Derby have got a bright future. It's just that it's not their time now, is it?
No. Yeah, and I don't think they've got a natural... Well, they've got a natural goal scorer in Jack Marriott, in my opinion, but...
He doesn't get enough.
He doesn't get enough at the moment, and he's injury-prone, so... They haven't got an out-and-out goal scorer you can rely on. I think Chris Martin's a big loss for them.
Yeah,
hard game. So,
anything to add, Regan, on Derby on now?
No, it's basically what you said. I think the Lowe, Bogle, and Martin departures are just going to take a toll on them.
Next, we've got Huddersfield Town.
18th.
I've got them bottom in 24th.
I've got them 22nd. They're the last team to get relegated for me.
Why do you think they're staying up, Regan? Because, I mean, everything to me screams they're going down. I've got them bottom, mate.
I just think it's the same thing with Coventry. I just think that there's just some teams worse than them. But like, I mean, the loss of Steve. Well, I never know how to say it's like Mooney or something, or Mouney or something like that. I feel like that they're going to rely on Carl Grant a bit too much, and I don't think that. I think they'll stay up just because I think that in those moments against teams lower down with them, I think they're one of those teams that will grind out a win, a 1-0, maybe like a high goal thriller, even like a 4-3. I feel like that's the type of team to get a result because of the experience and the quality some of the players have, which is the only reason I've gone staying up. But like you said, they could go down.
I just worry about them, about the Cowley brothers. They would have been screwed last season if it wasn't for them. They brought in this coach who apparently wants to play football. Oh, I don't know about that with that team. I wouldn't be trying to be playing a nice attacking football. I know it's a nice sort of dream to be playing that sort of football, but I'm not convinced. And when I looked at their squad, I feel like a lot of people fall for the thing that these players have played in the Premier League. So, they've got a bit of quality there. They're just not performing. The players who played in the Premier League aren't quality. There's a reason they went down with like no points. Their team is terrible. They've got a couple of good young players. I like that O'Brien in midfield, good player. And Carl Grant is obviously brilliant. But there's rumours Carl Grant's like trying to force a move away.
Yeah.
I'd take them off the bottom of the league if Carl Grant stayed, but I still think they'd go down. But if Carl Grant goes, which it looks like he probably will, because I've seen a few other fans that their owners are just trying to cash in at the moment on every player they have. I worry for them. I really do, because their team, I think, is terrible. The club are used to losing for years now, and the manager is not tried and just tested. So
yeah, I echo what you said. Got inexperienced managers. They've over the past 3 years, they haven't had a successful time at all, have they? They haven't had many wins at all. I don't think they've made very good signings at all. They've lost a lot of their loan players that they had last year. Smith Rowe, Willock. They've lost a few of them. They're potentially going to lose Grant, so that's their main goal scorer. And I looked at the other strikers they had. They've signed Danny Ward from Cardiff, Fraser Campbell. It's not enough in my opinion. Yeah. I don't think the squad in general is very good. If you've got Richard Stearman at centre back,
yeah, I saw that.
It's not going to work.
Next is Luton Town.
I've got them 21st.
I've got them 16th.
I've got them 18th.
I just like Nathan Jones. I thought he would do well with Stoke. I was wrong. It didn't go well, that project. But Nathan Jones just works at Luton. And I actually look at the team and I know Luton's maybe team isn't full of championship quality. A lot of players you'd say are good League One players. But I think good League One players can do a job in the Championship if they're playing the right way. If they're playing the way they're used to playing, a lot of that squad is still the squad that Jones initially had at Luton before. And I just think he gets the best out of them. I like quite a few of their players. Trying to think now, they've got James Collins up top. I had a few names in my head. They're having Panzu in midfield, but I think Luton are a decent side who struggled by just appointing them last season. They only struggled because they appointed a manager who no one really knew much about and took away from everything that they were good at doing. Obviously, they're not world beaters, but I think Luton will be fine under Dave Jones, personally.
Yeah, when it comes to the in my prediction table, the bottom 7 they could finish anywhere between 18th and bottom of the league, in my opinion. I think the quality is rubbish. I've got Luton in 18th just because I think Nathan Jones, that is his team, like you said, from when he took them up. I think they'll have enough cohesion in that squad to stay up as a team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When it comes to quality, obviously they're not the best, but I think in the right system, which is it 4-1-2-1-2 diamond?
Diamond. He plays a diamond.
And the fullbacks just bomb on. I think in a team in the right system, I think they'll stay up quite comfortably. They had a great run in towards the end of last season where they stayed up. So yeah, I think another season. I don't think they'll stay up comfortably because I think the teams at the bottom of the league.
Their team isn't great, is it? They're always going to struggle. But
yeah,
it's whether you trust the manager enough and the players enough. Yeah.
I still think there's teams worse.
Thoughts on Regan or?
The only thing I've got to add is that I think that it is their cohesion that I feel is one of the, and obviously their manager is the only reason I have them staying up. But I feel like if they go on a bad run and stuff like that, and their morale drops and their heads drop, I feel like it could get from bad to worse for them. I don't know if it's. I think all it takes for Luton is just a few bad games, then I could see them plummet. But I feel like with Nathan Jones, I can't see him going down really.
Next team we've got is Middlesbrough.
I've got them 14th.
Where have I've got them 14th?
I've got them 15th.
Bloody God, we're not.
It's just a
We're not
boring
divine opinion, are we?
There's a common theme right here.
I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what everyone's going to say. The squad lacks everything, but it's not worse than a lot of squads. And they've got Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock does not relegate you from the Championship. In fact, a lot of the time he takes you up from it. The only reason, if Borough had a good team, they'd be right up there for me just because of Warnock. But their team is not good.
It's exactly like Birmingham. You know, they've got a very average side. They'll be solid. They're too good to go down because of Warnock. So I think just, you know, they won't set the Championship alight, but they also won't. I don't think they'll be in a relegation battle.
Sure, so I'm so happy to skip over Borough if you ain't got nothing else to add.
All I can say is good luck to Marcus Bettinelli. I think.
Oh yeah, Bettinelli went there, didn't he?
And Grant Hall, which I think is actually a good signing for him as a bit of leadership at the back. But
we'll get on to QPR a bit later. Where we think now. Next is an interesting one. It's Millwall.
I've got them 8th.
I've got them 5th.
I've got them 11th.
Oh, right. I thought most people would agree with me, but
I was very close. I had a rough one of what I thought. I had Millwall about 6th, but then I added some teams that I thought could make it like.
I mean, 5th is a very bold prediction for me.
It is, yeah, but the way they ended last season, though, I feel like with their manager and their squad, and I think they've done good business. I feel like they could easily get playoffs.
Why do you think they won't then? Barnes has put them down at 11th, which I'm surprised about.
I just think that it's this. Oh, sorry, I'll just finish on this quick.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
I just think the teams above them, they can get better results, and I think Millwall can in some games, and I feel like tight games like the teams around them, like the Bristol Cities and teams like that, I feel like they just won't perform as much as I think, because I feel like when I look at teams that around the same level go against them, I can only see them get draws really, and I don't think that would be enough to consistently take them into the playoffs.
Go on, Barnes, what do you reckon?
Yeah, like what Regan said, I think there's teams and squads better than them really. I don't think they're a bad side at all. It wouldn't surprise me if they are in the playoffs at the end of the season, but I just think at the moment there are better squads than them. You know what you're going to get with them. They're going to be solid like they are every year. It's a tough team to beat. However, I'm not sure if they've got a 20-goal season striker. I'm not sure if Parrott. I think they're going to put too much pressure on Parrott to get these goals. You know, he's highly rated at Spurs. I do worry if the pressure is going to be too much for him and he's just, you know, not going to set the world alight. He might prove me wrong, and if he does, fair play. But I'm not sure if they've got the 20-goal season striker that'll get them into the playoffs comfortably.
My thing with Millwall is that, I mean, Gary Rowett's done a brilliant job there. It just seems to fit. It seems to work. They've kept their squad pretty similar to for a few years now. Those lads know how to play with each other. And they've always been a hard team to beat, but then you thought they've maybe not had the quality. I just think Gary Rowett's actually getting the quality out of them. And I think Troy Parrott is going to hit the ground running. I don't think he'll get 25 goals, or as alluded. I think he can get a solid 15 goals in the league. And I just got a feeling this season, you know how there's just teams that they go and shock sides all the time. Like, it's not like they shock a couple of times and they do all right. I think they're going to keep shocking teams. And I think they're going to be the team that no one wants to play this season. That'll be Millwall. And it's not because, I mean, they will play pretty pragmatic football, but I don't think they're going to just be a hoofball side. I don't think that is Millwall anymore. I just think they're going to be really hard to break down, and they're just going to give you a torrid time in midfield. I think they're going to chop at you. Ryan Woods is a great footballer. He is so good. I think Ryan Woods and Troy Parrott sum up what he's trying to do with Millwall. He's got that defence, which is solid as anything. He's got Jed Wallace, who's a great player on the wing, and he's got a midfield that is solid as well. Woods is not just solid; he's a great technical footballer. Troy Parrott's a great technical footballer.
They have
I think that is what's going to allow them in those games where you said you think they're only capable of draws and such. I think those are the players that are going to take them to a level where they can win those games. I can see them going and winning like 3-0 at Bournemouth. I can see them going to Norwich. I can see the likes of that. I just think it might be a one. This will be their year. So if they don't win the playoffs, it will go back to normal Millwall, who are about mid-table again. But I think
they have sort of come away from that stereotype that they are hoofball, just big lumps in midfield and defence. Yeah. They have got a lot of technically good football players, so it will be interesting.
I just think they're going to press sides, harry them, and I just think everyone's going to hate playing them this season. The one thing I did hear that maybe may take away from that is they obviously don't have the aspect of the Den this season for most of it, because there won't be fans there. I did sort of overlook that when I made my prediction, but I still think Mill will be a great side. I think they'll get the playoffs. Next team is Norwich City.
I've got them third.
I've got them third.
They're going to win the league for me.
Oh,
I don't want to say it at all. But
why do you reckon they're winning the league then? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious for you.
Haven't lost many players. They still got Godfrey, Aarons, Campbell, Pookie. A lot of the team that went up with them. That team and the manager, they've been there, done it. I think they made some really good additions. Their squad is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
They need to trim that down a little bit. But I just think they've got a mix of good players coming in plus experienced players that know what it takes to get out of this league. Yeah,
I mean, their squad on paper, when you look at it, Norwich should win the league. Really, when you look at the squad. My thing is, I think they'll have a bit of a hangover. Still think their team is so good for it. It'll be up there. And because, like I said, I think the league's pretty poor this year. I think they'll be okay still and they'll get in the playoffs. I think they'll have a bit of a hangover because that at the end of the season was really bad. It wasn't like they just got relegated. They were abysmal. I feel they'll lose a couple more players still as well. And I think Norwich City have a bit of an arrogance about them. I feel like those players, the only problem with keeping those players like Buendia and Cantwell is I think they expect to walk the league. And you can come unstuck there, and they are so lucky. All right, they've got Huddersfield first game, because I think if they had anyone else in the Championship, it would have hit them. If they had anyone who was half decent, they would have probably lost it. I think, and I think they're lucky they've got Huddersfield, as one say, because I think they probably will beat Huddersfield and probably beat them quite comfortably. But I want to see how Norwich do in the first few weeks. I want to see how they actually get on, because I'm still got reservations over Daniel Farke as well.
Yeah, I've basically gone further. The same thing is that I from long as I remember, I can't remember a team that has gone down from the Premier League as badly as they have, and then go straight back up again in first place. Yeah. I think that's the only reason why I don't have them in first. I feel like the loss of Jamal Lewis is going to be quite a big one. But I do like the signing of Jordan Hugo as well. I think that'll be a good backup to Pookie up top. But it's the same thing where I noticed that they've got a lot of arrogance about them as well. And I feel like in tight games or in games, like even against like teams like Cardiff and Bristol City and all that, when they feel like if they go into the game, well, we can thrash them, I can see them losing those games. And I think that's the reason why they won't get top two.
Next is Nottingham Forest.
I've got them in fourth.
I've got them. Sorry, one sec. I believe I've got them in 10th.
I've got them in 9th.
Regan, you start then. Why do you think they will make the playoffs?
I think I know the way they ended last season was absolutely terrible, and I feel like that it could be a case again at the beginning of the season where because there's no fans, I think they can start dropping points and stuff like that. But I feel like we saw it some elements like from between Christmas and April last season in got to be honest, a better league. They got their results, and I feel like that if they continue that for a longer period of time, they'll be the most fit, other than possibly Millwall and teams like that. I think they'll be the most feared team in the league, and I feel like with signings of, I know he's not great anymore, but Jack Colback is to solidify that midfield. I feel that's a good signing, especially Lyle Taylor as well. I think that's a very good buy. But I think that with the manager learning from it, hopefully learning from his mistakes in the last season, I feel like he can get a bit more consistency. And I do think they are my pick to go up through the playoffs as well.
I get your points, and you look at it just down to business-wise. They brought in Luke Freeman, good loan player for the Championship. They've got Lyle Taylor, good player, just to add a little bit more to the squad. I just think the feelings. I don't think teams will fear them. I think they'll see the collapse they had last season. They'll use that against them. I think Sabri Lambucci is going to be under a lot of pressure to perform. And I just think even though they've got the squad and they've got a manager who's good, I just think the pressure and the ill feeling around the club's what's going to ruin them the season. And I don't really get on. They're too good to have like an awful season. That's why I've got them in 10th. They'll still be in and around there. But I think it's going to be another season of just, and I don't think Lambucci's going to last the whole season.
I just think everyone knows how they play.
Yeah.
You know that with a lot of teams, but I think with Forest, it literally was, absorb pressure, get a goal on the break, and then just, defend until the final whistle. They used to grind out quite a lot of 1-0 wins. And I just think that teams will want to play Forest, but allow them to play and then get them on the break, if you know what I mean.
No, I get that. I don't think they'll be good at breaking down sides.
Yeah, I think they've got a good squad. I think Lyle Taylor's a great loan signing. I think it adds competition to Grabban. I think both of them will definitely get double figures comfortably again. But I just feel like a lot of teams will know how to get a result against them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Next is Preston North End.
I have got them in 10th.
I've got them 11th.
I've got them 7th.
Go on, Barnes. Why did you got them 7th then? I think you do a bit better.
Yeah, thinking about it, probably shouldn't have. But you, once again, you know what you're going to get with Preston.
Yeah.
They got a good squad. They got a fair bit of depth. However, they haven't got a 20-goal season striker, in my opinion.
No.
And I think that's what's keeping them out of the playoffs and what it has done for the last couple of years. Because I think whenever we play them, we haven't beat them in about 10 years now. But whenever we do play them, it's the exact same. They're set up quite solid. They've got a good midfield. Johnson's a quality player. But yeah, they just haven't got a 20-goal season striker. And I think if they did, I think they'd get playoffs quite comfortably. But I think they will just miss out. Because I think their entire squad is pretty decent and potentially better than some of the other teams in the champ, in my opinion.
No, I fully agree. You know what you're going to... Alex Neil has done a really good job there. He's got them probably a group of players who are good. Don't get me wrong, they are good. But they have limited ability, maybe. He's got them playing to the best of their ability. But I agree with Barnes. They don't have a 20-goal season striker. And I just feel... I don't know. I just feel like... I think the reason they'll come a bit further down the table this season is they'll still get some shock results. But I think they'll get to the point where the playoffs... As soon as the playoffs starts feeling like it's going to get away from them, they'll just down tools. That's still a good side. You know what you're going to get. I just think they really could have done with adding a few more players to the team, and they've not really done that.
That's the exact thing for me. Why I have them a little bit lower down is that I just think that with the season they had last season, especially the way they ended it, I feel like they needed to invest to just try and grab a few more key signings, especially a striker.
Remember, business can still be done yet, can't it?
Yeah. But going into like when we're recording this, going to first fit, they've done absolutely nothing. And then I feel like if they continue like that and they've signed absolutely no one at the end of the season, then yeah, I don't think there's little to no chance getting playoffs, because Preston, quite similarly to teams like Nottingham Forest, when it gets to crunch time, they just slide out and just bottle it a bit.
Yeah. Next one is QPR.
I feel like I should change, but I'm going to stick where they are. I'm going to stick them in 17th.
I've got them 20th.
14th.
Okay. I'll start. Every fibre in my body, seriously, told me they're actually going to go down. I genuinely think I look at their team. The only thing that changed my mind is that I thought maybe I am being too harsh. And Warburton, don't get me wrong, Warburton has his flaws, and that's why I think they're down there. he can't organise defence for crap. We've seen that with every single team. He plays really good football, but he can't defend for crap. And their problem is he can play really good football, Mark Warburton, but they don't have the players to play the really good football going forward. Like Abira Eze was massive for them. Abira Eze, I don't mean to put the whole team down to 2 players, but Eze and Jordan Hugill, the output from them was massive. Asai Samuel, people like, good player, pace strong, but I don't think he's really a goal threat who's going to get loads of goals for you. And I just see their defence, and they brought Rob Dickie in for $2.5 million. And if they keep investing and get a few more buys like that, I think, maybe that's probably what will just keep them up. That's why I've kept them there. But I mean, I look at their team now, I look at it on paper now, and I think it is awful. I think have you seen how thin their squad is? It's very thin. Their striker options, I went to look at their striker options. It literally is just that guy they signed in Scotland and Livingston, Lyndon Dykes. I mean, he's got 5 goals a season written all over him. I'm not convinced by that side at all. I just think QPR have lost any sort of extra quality they had in their side. And they're not a team that are going to... When you've not got quality, you want to be solid, and they're not that at all either. I've got them up just because I think they might bring in a couple more players before the window ends with the Eze money. But at the moment, I would have put them down. That's why I think they're terrible. Barnes disagrees with me quite a lot, though, on the team.
Yeah, I got them in 14th. I think with QPR, I actually enjoy watching them play. And that is just because Mark Warburton can't get his teams to defend. Yeah. They can't defend, but they can attack. Yeah, they've lost Eze and they've only got 1 striker at the moment. But you've got to remember, last year they didn't spend a penny and they made some really good signings. And they were actually quite entertaining to watch last year. And I just got enough, I've got enough faith in them that they'll reinvest that money in some decent signings. I don't think there'll be signings that'll get the team into the top half. But I think there'll be steady signings. And I think they can build from that, in my opinion.
Thoughts, Regan?
Mine's, it's kind of a mix between both of yours. I feel like that with the Eze money, they will invest. But I think with the people they invest in is the reason why I don't have them going down. Just because of the fact that the players they've lost as well, even they've lost people in the old veterans in the change room, like it was Mark Pugh, and I think it was like even people like Angel Rangel, stuff like that. They're still quite a young side, QPR, and I feel like they needed older players like that to try and lead them and spur them on. I feel like they've lost a lot of that, and I just look at their team, especially going forward, and if I'm any of the other teams and I come up against them and that attacking lineup, I'm not scared. I feel like we can outscore this team easily, and that's why I have them so low. But if they don't invest, same as you, Bill, could go down.
I agree. I think their strike force at the moment, like you said, I think the reason I have just kept them up is the investment. They will probably make a couple of signings, won't they? Yeah. It's just I feel like their team. You can play all good for they're like a pea shooter. They're gonna. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just not gonna There's gonna be no threat to them whatsoever, even though they're gonna play nice silky football. And I'm not sure by them. Next is the most boring club in the Football League pyramid, Reading.
20th.
18th.
Just skip over them.
You know what it is? We think Reading are boring. I mean, they are. Well, I mean, they're boring. Don't get me wrong. The manager looks a big risk, but as boring as their squad is, it does actually have a bit of quality enough to keep it up. Is what I think. If they got a Jaria now, haven't they, on a permanent? I think.
Yeah.
Leave. Yaku Mite, as much as he screams an average striker, he does he'll get you 10 goals. They got George Puskas, I believe, still. He should get some goals. But yeah, I don't think they're a good side, and I think I think they're going to be a bit of a team where they chop and change a lot. But I think they've got enough players in there that will keep them up relatively safely. But they are going to struggle.
They're one of the teams where I can see them going down. I almost
really?
put them
I can't see Reading going down personally.
I almost put them in a relegation zone.
Why is that? Just
don't think the squad's that good. But they've probably got enough. Strikers and midfielders to keep them up, in my opinion.
Yeah, they've
enough quality ones.
Goals, haven't they? Yeah.
Not amazing. Like they could still send them down, in my opinion. But I just think, other than the 3 teams I've got in the bottom 3,
yeah,
they are just a slight better.
Next is Rotherham.
22nd.
I've got I've got them 21st, just staying up.
I've got 23rd.
Oh, so I'm keeping them up. I think we all know why you two think they're going to go down. Very much a League One squad, isn't it? And they haven't added much quality to it whatsoever. My only reasoning, and I share those thoughts. The only reason I got them, they would go down if Sheffield Wednesday didn't have a 12-point deduction. Is my thought process here, basically. And I don't know. I think they're just going to get lucky and stay up. They've got, Rotherham. They'll try and be solid. They will win a few games 1-0 against teams around them, and I think that's just what will manage to keep them up. But their squad is poor, isn't it? It's terrible. Their squad, they haven't invested anything.
I feel like the only reason why we have them staying up and you don't is because you have Huddersfield down there and we don't.
What do you mean? I have them.
Yeah,
right.
You've got them going down.
Huddersfield going down and we don't, and basically Rotherham is the team that we're sacking off instead.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Next is Stoke.
7th.
4th.
10th.
I don't know why I've done this to myself again. Basically, every year I do it. And do you know what? I said this year, I've been saying to Barnes, they won't. No. And mate Tom, I've been saying no, they won't do it. And now I've gone and put them in because I've looked at the rest of the championship and think Michael O'Neill, the improvement. He did have an improvement with them last season, but the improvement wasn't. I'm basically just not going to back up my own opinion here. The improvement wasn't as significant as people say it is. But then also he did get maybe the last 5 or 6 results of the season that smashed some sides. He beat us. He smashed Forest 4-1. He
drew against us after we sacked Johnson.
The signing of Johnny McHale isn't one, but that's not the one that's exciting me. The one that I think, if he stays fit, gets Stoke into the Premier League, into the playoffs, is Stephen Fletcher up top.
Yeah,
that guy scores scoring goals for a terrible Sheffield Wednesday side. As long as Stoke can play, they go back to their roots of being a pretty pragmatic, hard to beat side. You whip balls into Stephen Fletcher. Stephen Fletcher can still get 20 goals in the Championship, in my opinion. So I've gone 4th. And don't get me wrong, I am not just going to sit here and think Stoke will blow away sides. I think it'll be another team that are horrible to play against. But a couple like Cardiff did last season, a couple of the horrible teams to play against do actually make it and put a run together. So I'm basically putting Stoke in there because I don't have as much belief in some of the other sides that will be in and around there as other people do, like a couple of sides that are coming up. But yeah, I've gone Stoke 4th. I mean, why have either of you both not gone for playoffs then with them?
You want to go, Regan?
Oh yeah, I'll go. I just think that basically from the last year where I had them like 3rd or 4th as well, and just the lack of just didn't enjoy watching them play. And I know at the beginning of the season they started off terribly, which is why they sacked their manager. But I feel like that's just a Stoke. That's just doing a Stoke. Is that they start off just badly every season, no matter where they are. I feel like they always start off badly. And don't get me wrong, if they do start off well this season, then sure, they can get playoffs easily. But I've only got them just outside because I feel like they have invested well. Like, especially, I know you said Stephen Fletcher, but I feel James Chester as well as a defender. I feel like he's a very good option to have back there. But it's the same thing that I see teams above, and I think they've just got a bit more quality than them.
Anything to add, Mark?
I think they got a good squad, and potentially, if things do go all right under this new manager, obviously they went on a great run at the end of last year. Potentially they can get playoffs, but for the last 2 years, I've been saying they're going to get playoffs, and they've underachieved massively. So I'm not doing it to myself this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them mid-table. So if they do get playoffs, I'll go, all right, fair enough. They finally done it. But if they finish 10th, I won't be surprised at all.
No,
I think they got a lot of quality in their team, but they've got a quality, but they don't actually show it when they play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, but I mean, I agree with you. I'm going to put out that I put them 4th. This bold is the least convinced. A lot of people are convinced that Stoke will do well. I'm not convinced at all they'll do well, but I've still gone with it, sort of just out of I don't know, not trusting
cover-
others.
like
It's
cover
not
your
trusting other
bases.
sides. It's not because I think Stoke are great. It's not trusting
The
others.
squad they've got, you'd like to think they would.
They
But
should
then
do.
again, we've said that for the last 2 years, and they haven't. So
The next side is the reason I'm putting Stoke in the playoffs is because I'm not convinced by this next side. The next side's Swansea.
I've got them in 6th.
I've got them just missing out in 7th.
I've got them in 5th.
Go on. Why do you two? Right, you two sort of believe in them then, but they'll get the playoffs. Why so?
I think they've got a good young team. I think they've got a bit of experience in there. Corey Smith's a good addition.
Yeah.
I think the loan signings they've made as well. They've kept some of the players they had last year. Freddie Woodman, that centre back they got from Chelsea. I think they've done some smart business. They all know the manager and respect him. I like him as well. I think he's pretty decent. Gets him playing all right football. Like last year, they started off really well, toppled off in the middle of the season, and then finished it strongly. And I think, with the players being there again this year, I think they'll get playoffs quite comfortably.
Do you agree, Regan?
Yeah, same thing. I think that they haven't really lost anyone. I know like Mike Van der Horn was a good leader at the back and he's gone, but I feel like that's not going to be much for a miss. I feel Steve Cooper is especially what we saw towards the end of the season, he's a very good manager for that Swansea team. I feel the signings of Jamal Lowe and even Morgan Gibbs-White to just solidify that midfield a bit for Wolves, I feel like it's really good. And their squad, I'd say their squad is better than what they had last season. Yes, they don't have Rhian Brewster and stuff like that, but they could get him in January like they did and mount an even bigger charge. But yeah, I could see him just sneaking in, but they could just slip out all the same.
Yeah, the reason I'm not going, I'm not going in the playoffs. I mean, I think I've been in around there just because they are better than a lot of the other sides in the league. It's just that I'm not. Steve Cooper's done a good job, yeah, but I'm not sold on the quality of the side particularly. I wasn't sold on it last season though, and they got the playoffs, so that's all much on. But I feel like they got that. We all know that they got that playoffs off a really late last-minute run, and I mean they got off their merit. If you get there, you get there, don't you? And they got there because Forest completely capitulated. Morgan Gibbs-White that's the reason he was telling me I probably should have put them in the playoffs. I think that's a great loan signing. But I look at Swansea's defence, yeah, and the players like Jake Bidwell, Cabango, who else are they going to have there back there instead of Mike Van der Horn? I know they've got the Chelsea loanee, but he was playing
Is it Joe Rodon?
Joe Rodon, not convinced by him. And they've got tidy technical players in there, don't get me wrong. But is Andre Ayew going to be up properly for another season in the Championship? I doubt it. So I think there'll be a team that plays good technical football. Steve Cooper, you know what you'll get from him. Steve Cooper trusts that loan market. But I just not... I don't know what it is. They just don't inspire me, not Swansea at all. Usually I like seeing these young players, lone players getting chances and seeing it. So no, I don't know what it is about Swansea. They just don't... They're a good technical, tidy side, but I don't think they're efficient. I don't think they're efficient in both boxes, really. Enough. Maybe so. Because let's be honest, they would not have got playoffs last season if it wasn't for Rhian Brewster.
True.
They now no longer have him. So,
but I feel like that with Steve Cooper, I think I don't know why, but I feel like in January, I feel like in that window, Steve Cooper is very good at analysing his team and getting the players he wants towards the back end of the season. But if they do that again, then yeah, I think they get playoffs.
Who is next? Next is Watford.
First.
Third.
So me and Regan have gone with the Watford top, and you've gone with Norwich top, and we sort of switched them around.
Yeah.
And then, do you know what it is with Watford? I didn't want to put them top because I just think the club's a bit of a mess still. The squad's massive, which isn't always a good thing. It's massive. It's a bit all over the place. But then what I tried to do is I tried to get rid of maybe some of those fringe players in my mind. And I was trying to see what their core will be, what their starting 11 will be. And I saw players like Craig Dawson at the back for championship level. These are great players. Got Ben Foster in goal. Got Will Hughes playing in the championship again, who when he was last there was unbelievable. The Dominic Queen looks like a youngster who's going to kick on. And then I saw the strike force, and this is what sold it to me. Troy Deeney and Andre Gray. Even if Deeney went, Andre Gray is a proper championship striker. His seasons in the championship, he's got 20 goals in like both of them. Troy Deeney, properly good championship striker. Their coach comes with quite a lot of pedigree. I just think that Watford, everything in my mind of how football clubs should be run and how their squad looks tells me they shouldn't win the league. But I see too much quality in it. And I think they'll even add a little bit more now that they've sold the likes of Decore. And Deulofeu will go. I don't think Deulofeu will stay. These players won't stay, but I think with the money they get, they'll invest in some top quality championship players again. And I think Watford will win the league, and they'll win it by quite a few points as well. I mean, Barnes is the one who disagrees, I guess. So
I don't, but I still think there's still a month left in the transfer window, and they announced their squad yesterday. There was a picture going around on Twitter of their squad. There's a list of players, and I just can't see how they're going to keep them for a season. Some of those players, I got a feeling within the next month, so many of them are going to go. You know, there's going to be bottom end Premier League clubs after a lot of these players.
Yeah.
Deulofeu, Sarr, Deeney, even Gray, maybe. There's just so many players I think that they're going to be Premier League clubs are going to be after. Originally, they were one of the first teams I looked at when trying to do my predictions. I had them in 11th because they had an inexperienced manager as well.
Mm. I mean, I agree with you. The points bonds, everything my body tells me they shouldn't. They will lose. I think they will lose these players as well. I agree they will lose them, but I think the players they still have, because they have such a massive squad, the likes of the young English ones they have, the ones that have been there in the Championship and done it, I think are still good enough to win the league. Even if they do lose the likes of Deulofeu. Add anything on Watford, Regan?
No, it's just that I could see them slip further down if they do lose the majority of their players. Because I feel like, I mean, if they kept all their players, which I don't think they will, if they do keep them, I feel like players like Ismail Assar and even Roberto Pereira on the other side. I know they're not great in the Prem, but I feel like they would absolutely tear the champ to pieces if they stayed in there.
Yeah.
But I do feel the signing of Glenn Murray is actually a very good signing, because I feel like he'll be one.
Yeah.
If he wants to grab a few goals in the Championship, especially, he'll be like a Stephen Fletcher type. I'm not saying 20, 25 goals. He'll grab double figures, maybe.
He gets you big goals, doesn't he? He gets you big goals.
Exactly, yeah. So I feel like, I mean, even if I did have them in playoffs and not going up, I feel like they go up automatically, just because I think some of their players are just too good, especially Ben Foster. Goal.
We've got two more to go. We've got Wickham Wanderers next. Where you got them, Regan?
Bottom.
I'm 23rd.
Bottom.
All right. Well, I mean, we all agree they're going down, and I think it's easy to say they're going to go down, but it's too easy to say that. There is a reason it's too easy to say they go down. Their team lacks quality and it lacks depth. I think that they showed in the game against us in the cup. I mean, we played a very second-string team, but they're resilient and they get results literally in games where you don't expect them to get a result at all. They somehow pull a goal from somewhere, and they always defend. And Gareth Ainsworth's done a brilliant job. My worry is that in a compact season of 46 games, it's all well and good running around for these one-off games and being a hard-to-beat side. Are they going to last 46 Championship games doing that? I don't think so. I think they might get to December and run out of steam, to be honest, and just start getting battered. Their team really lacks quality, doesn't it? I mean, on paper, I think it's the worst Championship team of all time. And I think a lot of people have said that. Because it is. They weren't even expected to... They were expected to go down with this team in League One.
Yeah, they haven't got the players for it. They will work hard. I watched them against Brentford the other day. Good team, but they haven't got enough to stay up.
I mean, I'm assuming you say the same, Regan. It's just...
Yeah, basically same thing. It's just that I could see them... The only likeliness I can see is between them and Luton in last season, because some of the Luton players that managed to keep them up aren't really Championship quality, let's be honest. But I feel like you said, on paper, that when I looked through the squad, I was like, I don't know any of these players. I've got to be honest. There's not one player that I look at and be like, oh, they could score a few goals. But then I realised they're a centre-back. I'm like, okay, never mind. So I feel like they've got little to no chance. And the fact that I've got them below a team that has a 12-point deduction as well just shows just how bad that I think they're going to do.
And last, and probably least as well, to be honest, Sheffield Wednesday.
23rd.
22nd.
19th.
Oh, go on, Barnes. Why are they staying up?
Because I don't think the team's that bad.
No.
All the teams we've mentioned near the bottom are a lot worse. They've got minus 12 points deduction already, yeah. But I think at least that's something that they can look towards. That's a bit of motivation. They've got a target now that they've got to reach. So I think once they reach that, I think hopefully they'll pick that up at the start of the season, pick up a few wins and whatnot. So yeah, I just think they'll beat that rep. I think they'll get over the 12 points and then pick a few points up after that. Once again, I think the teams below them are worse, in my opinion. It's a big ask, but I just think the team's good enough to overcome that.
I agree. If you're there's a quality side there, they've got players like Adam Reach, they've got Barry Bannon, and like seriously, that guy I say it every year should be playing
Why
Premier
is he there?
Not let alone like the champion. He's ridiculously good. I think he dictates play, and I don't want to put a side down if it's got Barry Bannon in it from the Championship, but I think it is. The reason I think 12 points is a big gap to make up. If they'd had 12 points deducted last season, they would have been relegated. Gary Monk, don't get me wrong, is a good manager, but I see the team and I see the starting 11 and I think Barry Bannon, good player. Adam Reach, good player. Harris. Their striking options look dire. Elias Kachunga is not a goal scorer. Jordan Rhodes, I like his goal scorer. I'd love nothing more than him to get back to scoring the goals, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen ever.
He's finished.
They have, don't get me wrong, that team wouldn't go down without the 12 point deduction. But I don't see a team there really particularly full of characters. And I think characters are what you drag you out of that situation. It's not a team where I think they're going to set up, be hard to beat, and I think they'll have games where they beat sides just because they got quality in their team. But I could also, I don't know if they're really up for the mental challenge. They've got a really thin squad as well. Because obviously not many clubs, who's really going to want to join Sheffield Wednesday at the moment? A couple of players have Che Dunkley, Elias Kachunga. But I mean, it's not like anyone with real quality, I don't think is going to want to join them.
I think they've made some all right signings.
No, I don't.
Considering they've got a minus 12 points deduction.
Yeah, but like they're decent signings, but I don't think they're signings that are going to drag you out of the situation. Massimo Luongo and Bannon, like a good midfield, but it's just a team that I think once you go past the starting 11 really struggles. And I just 12 points is just a massive haul. They'd have to say the team who goes down it like who would usually get like say Rotherham, who I think Rotherham probably get about 45 points. That means Sheffield Wednesday have to be starting to push towards 60 points. I can't see that personally.
No, that's basically the way I looked at it was that I feel like without any point deduction, I could see them get like 56, 57.
Yeah, I could have seen. I would have without point deduction. I would have had them about 17th without a point deduction. To be honest, 60.
Yeah.
So,
look at what I did last season. I think they had like 52, something like that, which would have put them bottom. And I feel like that it was a harder league last season, but their players are getting on a bit, like you said. None of their striking options should fear anyone. As in, no, the defenders shouldn't fear them, because I think the signing of Izzy Brown's going to be quite an interesting one. He could bring something to the team, but I can't see them make a better point improvement than what I did last season. And with that logic, the only reason I have them not bottom is because I think Wickham will challenge for some of the worst points in Championship history.
You know what? I'm going to throw. That's our table's done. I'm going to throw a little curveball. I didn't expect this, but I'm going to do it. Who's going to go for your player of the season in the Championship and a Golden Boot winner? What do you think?
It's hard because I want to say like someone like Ismail Assar or players like that for the player of the season, but if they leave, then it's hard to say. I'm gonna say someone like, I don't know. If he stays like it, I could say Todd Campbell get player of the season, and I think top scorer maybe Nocky Wells.
I'm going to go player of the season. I said Josh Da Silva. I mean, it's a bold shout. Centre midfielders are going to find hard, but I'm going to take that as a win if he's even in like the conversation for it. And I would always go for a Brentford striker usually, but I think Tony we'll still have a good season of 20 goals, but I think there'll be a couple strikers. I'm stuck here between Andre Gray, Stephen Fletcher, and Naki Wells.
Oh, I forgot about Andre Gray.
I think I'm going to go Naki Wells for Golden Boot. And that's because I think Bristol City, Mamara Gigi is not a massive goal-scoring striker. I think they're going to rely on his goals massively. I think Wells gets 25 goals.
I'm not going to go for Wells. I'm going to go. I don't. It's annoying because we've still got a month after the transfer window. In my opinion, there's a good possibility that he'll leave, but at the moment he's still at Watford. I'm going to go for Andre Gray, top goal scorer.
Yeah, I think Andre Gray's the most sensible bet, to be honest, personally.
Yeah, and my player of the year, do you know what? Don't really know. I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Buendia at Norwich.
Oh, that's if he stays.
I've no idea about that.
Okay.
I just have to think of a player.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's our championship predictions over. Thanks, Barnsley, for coming on. I'm sure we'll all be wrong by. But I'll probably be proven wrong by the end of tonight when Middlesbrough won 3-0 at Watford. So that'll settle. Remember to like the video, follow us on iTunes, subscribe to the channel, and Regan, what we're going to do next? Do we know? Are we going to be back to that? Huh?
Is it the kit video?
Yeah, we'll do the kit video. We'll be back reviewing Premier League kits next. We'll see you next week or whenever, actually. Yeah, it is next week, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Don't go change. See you later.